Today I'm going to show you how to use Google Sheets. Sheets are Google's answer to Excel. If you've used Excel before, this will feel fairly intuitive. If you've never really used a spreadsheet in the past, I think you'll find this fairly easy to work with. So let's get started. One of the great things about a spreadsheet is that you can import various kinds of files that will automatically fill the sheet with your data. Sheets can import from Excel and CSV files. CSV stands for comma separated values. This is a standard file format that most databases, spreadsheets, and financial software can read. I'm going to create a simple spreadsheet and provide you with a few quick tricks to using it. First, you need to open the Sheets app from the Apps chooser. You can also use the New tab in your drive to open just a document, but the App chooser gives you a few different options. This allows you to have pre-made templates as well as choosing from a blank document. So here we have all of our templates and what I've previously worked on. First, we're going to just open a blank sheet. Just a reminder that the numbers on the left side down here are the row numbers, and the letters along the top are the columns. Each block in the grid is a cell. Each cell has a specific value assigned to it, such as A1, B1, and so forth. This doesn't really matter unless you're planning to use a calculation, such as creating a cell that totals all the numbers in that column, and we'll get to that later. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a header row right in this first row here. So we might want first name, last name, quiz 1, quiz 2, and so forth. Now, I like to work with all the different features up above, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But this row stays at the top of the sheet when you add data to the sheet. But sometimes we have a lot of rows down here, and as we scroll down, you see our header has disappeared. So in order to make this header stay there, we are going to do a very simple feature called freeze. So the first thing you do is you go to the View menu. You click on Freeze, or you pull down to freeze actually, and you're going to find multiple options. So you can freeze rows or you can freeze columns. But I'm going to freeze one row. So now when I scroll down, you can see my numbers are changing over here. I scroll down and it stays in the same place. Pretty nice feature. So you can do the same thing with a column, so that if you wanted to put student names down this side here and you wanted to scroll over, if I come back to here and I say View Freeze one column, now as I scroll you can see first name stays there. Okay? So that's under the View menu. Now I'm going to add a few names and a few scores. When I do these few scores and names in here, we're going to add some other features to this later. So I'm just going to type a few in here. And if I left your name out, please don't feel bad. I'm just throwing a few names out. And let's say I have a quiz and everybody gets 100. I don't have to type 100 in every single box. This is a cool thing about this. See this little blue dot right here? I grab that blue dot, I hold down on my mouse, I select it, and I drag. When I let go, I've filled all the boxes. So that's called fill. F-I-L-L. You can, in fact, fill down using some keystrokes, but I think that's really the easiest way to do it, is to just by pulling down and filling. Okay? The toolbar at the top, this toolbar right along here, gives you lots of customization features. Down here, of course, we have the formatting our numbers, so you can format it as currency. I just select I can select a whole column if I wish. So let's just say I want to format it as currency. I click on it, now they're all $100. If I want them as percentages, I can change it here. If I just want to change the number of places, I can do that. And then here, I have all sorts of things: scientific, financial, currency, and so on. So I'm changing it back to my straight hundreds, and I'm removing the decimal places. So these all have to do with number functions. The next part is my font. And if I click here, of course, it gives you any font that you may have installed, and you can actually go and get more if you wish, if you don't see what you like. The next, of course, is size. Now, if I want to select the whole sheet and change all of the font and all of the size, I click over here in this box. Notice how it changed, everything got light blue. So I click over here in this box, it selects the entire thing. If I adjust a column, it's going to adjust all the columns. If I adjust a row, it's going to adjust all the rows, and so forth. So that's how you do it to affect the entire spreadsheet. I can change the font here. Now it's all in that Allegria font. And if I want to change the size, I can select it the whole way. Okay. So my next feature is changing what each of these looks like. Here's your bold feature. I want my first line to stay bold. Slide up and down. Italics. And of course, you notice next to it, it's got a little, it's got the command and an I. Those are the keystrokes. And you'll notice that in any of your menus too. It shows you the keystrokes right here. That's just the shortcut way to do it if you want to do it that way. Sometimes if you're doing it quickly, you need to do it that way rather than choosing. Strike through, changing your text color. If you just click on it, it gives you lots of different options. Okay. And over into the next section, we have our fill. So let's say I want to fill this one with a color. I just come over and I click on the red, click on the green, whatever color I want there. And I'm going to show you a little fancy trick with that in just a little bit. When I want to remove any of that formatting, I just come in here and I reset. This next feature is a place to do borders. It also gives the option of changing the border color and changing the border style. So I can select several different things, and I can add a border, and that way those will print. Otherwise the grid lines do not print. You would get just a blank paper with these headings and so forth, but it wouldn't have the grid lines in there. I can then change it just to outline the box instead. So I select the whole thing and I outline the box, or I can do just a single one, or I can do the undo command and remove. Undo is Command Z, and you can step back several steps at a time. The next feature, I don't use it very often, but this is called the merge feature. And you can merge all, merge them horizontally, vertically, or unmerge. So if I merge it horizontally, now this becomes one big box. And that's mostly for when you're trying to format things. You want to have your name spread across several of the columns, but you want the columns underneath to stay the same. That's how you would do that. This next feature is alignment, straightforward. This gives you the vertical align if you want it in the center of the box, at the top of the box, or the bottom. That's just your preference. And this one is a great feature. This is the text wrapping feature. So if you have a long paragraph typed and you want it to wrap instead of spreading all the way across, I might choose this whole column and say I want this to, oops, wrong one. I want this to wrap. And you notice it adjusts just that row to fit that amount. And I can then drag it out and so forth. Okay, so that's the wrap feature. This is links, inserting a comment, inserting a chart, filtering. So a filter allows you to create a view where you only choose certain characteristics that you want. And the last one is functions. These are the very common functions that we use, and I will go over functions at a later time. The Tools menu up at the top, or there's several menus at the top, of course. You have your file, various ways you can download this, by the way, as an Excel document or PDF any way you want to. You can edit. You can view. We've already looked at the view because of the freeze. Here you can insert a column to the left, a column to the right, comments, functions, images. Here's your format menu. You can align things and so forth. Here's your data where you can sort things. I'm going to show you a quick tool for that. Up in the Tools menu, there's also some other things. You can create a form, for example. So if I create a form that's going to be linked to this, I can type in whatever my form is, new form, question 1, question 2, so forth. When you created your form earlier in this week, you used the responses and it showed you in here a pie chart. Well, over here, this is where you can view them in your spreadsheet. Since I linked it already with this spreadsheet, it automatically puts it in the sheet. But if I had done that as a form first, it would give me the option of creating a new form or adding to an existing form. So here you see I have form responses in one tab, and here's my original sheet in the other tab. And I can hold down and click and move that sheet over if I want to do that. So it becomes the first and this becomes the second. I can change the title of this. I double click on it, first page, whatever I want it to be. And then here, this shows me how many different tabs I have. Okay. One last thing I want to show you on this before I get into any more detail with this is add-ons. Under add-ons, there's all sorts of things you can add to this to make your time more efficient. And the one I want you to search for is called Flubaroo. Strange name, but Flubaroo allows you to grade and analyze online assignments and assessments and email scores to students. This is a cool add-in. So I'm going to click free. It wants to know if it's okay to manage it and so forth, and you allow it. And now, there you have Flubaroo. We're going to explore Flubaroo a little bit more in the coming weeks, but this is a really good start to using Excel spreadsheets. If you have further questions, I suggest you use the Help menu, which is right here. You click on it, type in what your question is, and Google has very good help response. Good luck with your new spreadsheets. I look forward to seeing what you create.